Hey y'all, welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. This is episode 26 and I am Hans. If you're looking for the Late Night Vision Show, you have found the right spot, and I'm going to bring in the right guy to take care and answer all your thermal scope questions. Jason Robertson, how you doing tonight, bud?
Man, I am doing good. I've never been accused of having the face for video. It's more like a face for audio. I've never been accused of having the voice for audio either, but I know I sure don't tonight because I have got some kind of a sinus deal going on, and I know I sound bad. And if I start hacking up a lung or sneezing or something, I don't feel bad at all, which is really good. But I know I sound like I'm probably over here with the flu or something. But no,
Oh, you don't. Oh man, you don't sound too bad. But hey, I'm glad you mentioned that because I wanted to speak a little bit and invite everybody to please, if you haven't. I know that a lot of people listen to the Late Night Vision Show podcasts through the podcast sharing apps, whether it be Google Play or iHeart Radio, Spotify. If you're listening on iTunes, but I want to invite everybody to go over and check out our YouTube page and make sure that you subscribe because Jason and I, moving forward, we've committed to start doing some videos together. Some kind of, these are special for our YouTube subscribers where we're going to get a chance to see some inside footage video. We're going to do some hunting together. I'm going to go down and hunt with him down in Nacogdoches County. He's going to come up to Van Zandt County. We're going to start doing some hunting. So I'm excited about that, and that's a great deal for our YouTube subscribers as well.
let me tell you what that was, folks. That right there was what you call forcing your co-host into something. He's been saying, man, when you do these hunts, I was like, man, I know it'd be a great idea. And then I'm always the guy dragging my feet and like, oh, I'm too busy to get together this weekend or that weekend or whatever. He's like, we really need to do it for the YouTube channel. So there he goes. He lays it out. So now I have no choice. But
you have no choice. I've already promised the listeners. But man, it's going to be a great thing for the YouTube channel because people are going to get some inside footage of us together, and we're going to be still talking about scopes. We're just going to be together and get out and use them in the field and kind of some inside shenanigans and some of the we'll see how well it works out, but I'm excited about it.
Well, hey, speaking of inside shenanigans, there was a shenanigan going on, last Friday here that I got to talk about this. So Friday, my wife had said that our kids were going to Grandpa and Grandma's house, going to spend the night there, and so we didn't have any big plans. Going to just kind of, goof off, maybe go out to eat. I don't know, hang around the house, and so it's Friday afternoon. I'm busy. Doesn't matter if the kids aren't around. I'm working. I'm answering the phone. I'm selling scopes, and she keeps texting me like, "What are you doing? When you come into the house, like you need me to come. What? No, no, no." And she kept acting kind of funny, and then Hans is texting me, and I don't know what does he want, and I'm on the phone. I can't get off. Finally, I look up, and here comes my wife and Hans and his wife walking up to my office door at about 4:30, and I'm like, what are y'all doing in Nacogdoches? And we came up here to celebrate your late 40th birthday and take you out for the night. And I was like, well, how long have y'all been here? And they're like, half the day. We've been here since right after lunch waiting for you to get off of work. And I'm like, man, I felt terrible. So they surprised me. It was a big surprise, and we had a good time. We went and got to listen to some Texas country at a Bonita Creek Hall here in Nacogdoches. Listened to Aaron Watson concert. So we had a big time. But I just want to say, hey, thanks to you and Crystal for coming up, and we had a good time too. Bad we didn't get to film some of the shenanigans for the YouTube channel this weekend, but.
Yeah. So yeah, we went down there and we had a good time with Jason and his wife, and they've got a beautiful piece of property out there, and man, it's looks like it's a prime spot for hogs. And I tell you, there's no doubt that this man is on the phone talking to customers all day, every day, because I sat there for about 4 hours waiting for him to get off the phone.
I had no idea. I felt terrible about it. But hey, he was down there at my house. I'm surprised he wasn't digging through my gun safe and out there in the woods looking for some hogs or something. But
Oh, I was playing through toys.
I'm sure. I believe that. Hey, what is that you've got on? Is that an Outdoor Legacy shirt? Let's see that now.
I did. I
Oh
got
man.
a little package from in the mail. Actually, these are the ones I picked up from you
That's
in
right. When you
Nacogdoches.
came, that's right.
The new Outdoor Legacy T-shirts. It's got Outdoor Legacy, Night Vision Optics. Man, this is a great feeling shirt. I've already got several people around town that are like, "Man, I like that shirt. Where'd you get it?" So I know that you're doing some special. I know you've given some away. You're giving some
Yeah,
away.
we
Doing
gave some
some.
away. We're going to be giving them away with thermal scope purchases, and they will be for sale. We're going to get them on the website and sell them too. But if starting as soon as we can get them in the warehouse and get everything set up, we'll be
Well,
giving them away
the
with scopes. But
the best part about it, it's got a little picture of the state of Texas on it.
that's right.
So I
That's
mean,
right.
any shirt that's got the state of Texas on
I
it
hope that
is probably
our,
gonna wear.
our listeners from other states, that doesn't offend y'all. We're sorry, but us Texans, we're proud. So
Yeah, I think a lot of the guys that we talk to that are out of state, they talk about Texas, and I'm sure they like it and love it just as much as we do. But they want to come down and go hog hunting.
that's
I hear
right.
it all the time. They want to go hog hunting. But hey, we've got some news to share. Jason's got some news to share, and I'm gonna let him share that about some developments on some of these thermal products. So
Yeah.
go ahead
Well,
and tell them the good news.
all right. I have good news and I have bad news. Which should I do
Uh oh.
first?
Well, let's start with the bad news and
All
then
right.
on
I
the good
agree.
news.
I always want the bad news first. The bad news is that just announced this afternoon. This will be a couple days old by the time this podcast airs, but just announced, again 5 o'clock today, that the Pulsar Quantum Light handheld binoculars. It's the XQ23V. It's $1,700, $1,699, and then the XQ30V, which is $1,899. Those are two of the least expensive, high quality thermal handheld binoculars on the market, and those two are discontinued effective immediately. And the reasoning that Pulsar gave for that in the email said that it's actually been an ongoing problem with one of the components that they were using in the scopes. The manufacturer of that particular component quit making it, and Pulsar had spent the last 2 or 3 months trying to source that component. Nobody could make it for them to the specs that they needed, and it just wasn't worth trying to go out and get it made. So they made the tough decision to discontinue those two units effective immediately. Now, that doesn't mean if you've got one, your warranty's still good. I've still got some sitting on the shelf. They've been extremely popular because of the price and the quality, and so they're still for sale. They're still out there. Don't hesitate to buy one. Nothing like that. It's just a matter of, unless something changes, which anything can always change, that there's probably not going to be any more of those made again effective now. They Pulsar said they were going to leave open the orders that were in the system just in case some do get manufactured and they send them out. Maybe they still have some components left to make a few more, but they are essentially discontinued. And it saddens me a little bit because they are really good units. I mean, they're not they're not $5,000 units. They don't look like $5,000 units when you look through them, but they look better than $1,700. I can tell you that. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
they're really nice. And Hans, I know you've got a video, I think, on the Quantum Lights XQ23V.
Yeah, did a review, a full review on the Quantum Light. It was actually the first monocular that I did a review on.
Yep.
And a great little unit, man.
Yep.
I was it's unfortunate that it has to go away, but man, Pulsar's got some great Helion binoculars out there. They're a little bit more expensive, but with the addition of the Helion XQ28, I'm in love with that thing.
Yeah.
So
that's $21.99. So if anybody,
Yep.
if you're looking now, that's going to be Pulsar's least expensive is that Helion XQ28, and it does have a better image quality. It's got all the bells and whistles, video recording and all. But so the Quantum Lights are gone, but the good news, so let's talk about that. That's bigger news, hopefully, is that we announced it here. We kind of broke the news on the Late Night Vision show that there were going to be the Pulsar trail laser rangefinder units. I don't know if I even said that right. Laser rangefinder units. That those units were going to be available in the XQ38 and the XQ50 series. And so we did not expect that. We thought they were only going to be in the high resolution 640 by 480 XP units. But again, a few weeks ago, Pulsar said, hey, shock, surprise, surprise, they're coming out in the XPs. And, we actually had one of the listeners who he called in the very morning that show aired. He listened to it. He called straight in and said, put me on the list for one of the XQ50s. I just listened to the show. I want it. And so I actually talked to him today and let him know that those are coming in. I will actually have them in stock by the time this show airs. So they've already shipped. I've already got tracking numbers. They'll be in my warehouse tomorrow, which again, by the time this show is out, they will be sitting on the shelf.
That was quick.
It was really quick. And
I tell you, breaking the news here on the show and telling everybody that they're in stock, that's hey, we're gonna pat ourselves on the back a little bit.
Yeah, so that's good news. And I did have some pre-orders on the XQ38 and the XQ50 after the show. I'm going to be able to fill all those orders and still have some on the shelf. So not many, but 2 or 3 units each. So if that's something you're interested in, give us a call. The XP50, I was told there were only a handful of those that shipped in. I don't know what the actual number was, but it was, I know what I was told Friday was coming, and it was a tiny amount, like
right.
barely double digits. So I am getting one of those, but it is pre-sold. I've got some more people waiting for those. If you want those XP50 units, from what it sounds like, you're going to have to get in line somewhere on those. I think they're going to be very hard to get, what it sounds like, through the remainder of the year, but hey, who knows? We'll see. Maybe they're going to ship some more. They just did not get hardly any of those. They got a lot more of the XQ units. But anyway, I'm excited.
Those XQ units are going to be a big seller. And I'm going to tell you, if you're wondering what the LRF is, the laser rangefinder units, I did a full review on the Pulsar Trail XP50 LRF. It's on my YouTube channel. You can find it. It's HansETX on YouTube. That's HansETX. You can go check that out and see the full review of that. And I know that I'll be doing a review with one of the XQ models as well coming up soon.
Yeah, and there's been some questions that are like, hey, what did they change? We don't know yet. I mean, we'll know, at the end of this week when we get our hands on them, but we really just don't know. My suspicion is nothing at all changed from the prototype that Hans and I had until now, but we'll just have to wait and see. But we will bring that news to you as well. So anyway, that's exciting. Glad to see those things actually coming in stock. I know it's been a long wait. Those were announced in January at the SHOT Show. And again, this is just one of those examples that Hans and I talked about a few weeks ago. Just because you hear about something new, just because it's announced, even if there's a prototype out there, it doesn't mean that it's going to be out and available anytime soon. We're looking here, January to now, we're almost to the 1st of November. So, it's been a good 9 or 10 months to get those here. And so you just never know.
Yeah. You're exactly right. So if you have any questions, if you want information on that, if you want to get it, give Jason a call over at Outdoor Legacy. You can reach him at 877-350-1818. As always, you can find us on YouTube, on Instagram with the Late Night Vision Show. Please go follow us there, the Late Night Vision Show. Also on Facebook, YouTube, like we talked about earlier. Same with HansETX and Outdoor Legacy. So please go do that. But hey, I want to talk about our topic for today and what we're going to be talking about. You ready to get into it?
I'm ready. Hey, one thing you forgot. I got to tell the folks. They need to find us if they want to leave us suggestions, feedback, comments, make fun of us, whatever.
Yes,
Call
sir.
us, 903-833-4461. I'm going to give it again, 903 833-4461. No one's going to answer. It's going to go straight to voicemail, so you can leave all those bad comments about Hans and glowing reviews. No, I'm just kidding. Call us, give us suggestions. We love hearing from you. And we had a whole lot of calls going on for a while there. We hadn't been pushing it much, so we need some more calls. We love them, and it's great for doing our feedback shows, and we always like to hear them. And we always appreciate the emails too. We've been getting a lot of those recently, a lot.
Yeah.
But we want some phone calls too.
You. Yeah.
So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into the show. Tell us what it's going to be, buddy.
Emails and the voicemails. So this week, what we're going to talk about, and really this is kind of a culmination of a lot of different feedback that we get from people, a lot of questions, and really a high level of confusion in some cases. But today we're going to talk about the Pulsar Trail models versus the Pulsar Apexes and the differences. So whenever if somebody's talking about a Trail or an Apex, you know exactly what they're talking about. So to kind of shed some light on some of the confusion, Jason, we're going to have you talk a little bit about it and make sure that by the time of the end of the show, people know exactly what the differences are.
Yeah, Hans, these two scopes are extremely similar, and a lot of people don't even know that the Apexes exist. And I had a guy today call, and he said, I'm looking at these trails, and I heard something about an Apex, but I go to YouTube, I look for them, I can't hardly find anything. Every time I search it comes up a trail. He's like, I don't know what in the world, what are these things? And so, Hans and I've been saying we need to talk about this because it's something that I get every day, and I know he gets a lot. But the Apexes were that name, the Apex, has been around for a long time with Pulsar, but the ones we're talking about, they were released the exact same time as the Trails were. And so they're new models that came out last year. And one reason you don't hear a lot about them is because the Trails have all the bells and the whistles, and that's just kind of the flagship line for Pulsar. It's just been what they've pushed, they put their marketing to. And I'll get into a little bit more about why you don't see as many videos and things from the Apexes in a minute. But so I just want to go and talk about these two scopes and give some of the basic specifications of the differences and the similarities, actually. So there's two Pulsar Apexes. There is an Apex XQ38 and there is an Apex XQ50. Now, remember, anything in the Pulsar line that has XQ means it's 384 by 288. It's at 17 microns, and it's 50 hertz refresh rate. It's got an AMOLED display. The Trails, there's multiple Trail models, but the two main XQ models are the Trail XQ38 and the Trail XQ50. Again, same thing, 384 by 288 resolution, 17 microns, 50 hertz refresh rate, AMOLED display. Identical. Now, let's break down these models, and you're fixing to start seeing what's going on here. The Apex XQ38 has a magnification optical of 2.2 optical magnification. It does have digital zoom. So 2.2, and it has a 56-foot field of view at 110 yards. We go to the Trail XQ38. Guess what? It's a 2.2 optical magnification, 56-foot field of view at 110 yards. The Apex XQ50, it is a 2.8 optical magnification, 43-foot field of view, 110 yards. And you've guessed it, I don't even have to say it. The Trail XQ50 is a 2.8, same 43-foot field of view. Now, I'm going to give the big thing here that is the kicker. The Apex XQ38 and the Trail XQ38, same identification, same magnification, and the exact same image quality. Same thing with the XQ50 Apex to the XQ50 Trail. These scopes have the same guts. They have the same lens. They're the same scope. These got different exterior housing. It's got different features. Hans is going to talk about that in a minute, but they are essentially the same scopes. Now, let's talk about the price difference. And I know I'm giving you a bunch of information, and once we get over all this, we're going to kind of hash some of this out in a conversational way. But so the Apex XQ38, that's $24.99. The Trail XQ38, it's $32.99. That's $800 more. The Apex XQ50, $27.99. The Trail XQ50 is $37.99. $1,000 difference. So $800 and $1,000 between those two models, between the Apex and the Trail. And as you can already see, extremely similar scopes, but there are some distinct features that the Trails have that the Apexes don't have, and I'm going to let Hans kind of give you those main ones, and then we can jump in and kind of hash this out a little more.
Yeah, so I think that's what people really want to know is, okay, a lot of these scopes they're very similar, almost the same, but like you said, the exterior housing and things like that are a little bit different. But here's where we get into why you're spending a little bit more for the Trail models. The first thing is, and probably one of the most popular items that the Trail features come with, are the internal video recorder. That is video and audio. So that is a internal video recorder, which also you have the ability to have the Stream Vision app, which is Wi-Fi capable. So you can actually download the Stream Vision app to your cell phone, and you can link it up between your cell phone and your scope. And I actually have a lot of buddies that do this because they take their kids out. So you can actually link up your smartphone with your scope, and somebody can be looking through the scope and scanning, and somebody could hold your cell phone and look through like they're looking through the viewfinder. But you can also download the videos from your scope onto your Stream Vision app on your smartphone and watch the videos on there as well. So that's a really cool feature, and I know a lot of people that use that quite often. Also, it does come with a built-in rechargeable removable battery pack. So it is a rechargeable battery pack. Gets a long time of use in the field. It lasts a long time, up to about 8 hours with that, I've noticed, and it charges in a relatively short amount of time. So I love the rechargeable battery option. So that's different than the Apex models, which the Apex models do not have the internal video recorder. You can hook up an external MDVR to record video, and it just plugs into the side of the inside of the scope. So you would need to get that. And also, it does not have a rechargeable removable battery pack. It actually runs off of a couple CR123A batteries, but you can purchase an external battery pack that plugs in as well. So I think, also the Trails have more reticle options. They have 3 rifle profiles that you can set on. So there's a lot of bells and whistles mixed in there, Jason, that's making the value of the Trails much higher than its baby brother, the Apexes.
Yeah, right. And so just to kind of hash that out, I mean, and Hans said all that exactly right. But to kind of hash that quickly, I would say what you're giving up, and by the way, he said one thing I want to make sure we're clear on. The Apex and the Trail both have the 3 rifle profiles that you can zero, 3 different rifles, so you can switch them back and forth. The Trail actually allows you to zero each rifle at 3 different yardages, which I find to be totally and utterly useless for any kind of hunting that I do. Again, it's fine that it's in there. It doesn't cost anything. I just understand the reasoning on it.
I've got buddies that swear by it, man. They love it. They'll sight it in at 50, 100, and 200.
And I know guys who do it, and I'm just like, man, I don't know what you're shooting if you're shooting a BB gun, but anything I shoot 0 at 100, and there's not a big enough difference between 30 and 200 to matter. But whatever, hey, to each their own. No, to each their own. But with that said, it does three rifle profiles for both scopes. But again, there's a few more reticle options on the Trail, and we're talking those details I cannot imagine that would sway anybody to buy one scope or the other. But the big things for the trails are the ability to internally record video, the built-in removable rechargeable battery pack, as well as the Wi-Fi streaming. So
That's exactly right.
those are the big differences, and I mean that's just what it all boils down to is those three key features. So when I get a guy on the phone and we start talking about one of the trails, a lot of times what I'll find is, just through the conversation, he's about ready to buy a scope, and he'll say, "Yeah, I don't care anything about that video recording," and I'll be like, "Whoa, okay, you want to use the smartphone app? Oh, I am never going to use that." I'm like, "Oh man, you must need a battery pack bad. Let me tell you about the Apexes." And a lot of times the guys end up, just going, "Oh, I didn't know that scope existed. You mean I can save 800 or $1,000 and get that scope? Sign me up. I don't need video recording that bad." And so it's a great option. And as Han mentioned, there is an external battery pack that Pulsar makes for the Apexes. There's two of them. And one will run at 6 to 8 hours. One will run at 16 to 20 hours. And so, and if you want to record video, you can always get an external, video recorder for $250 with the cable and everything. So it's still possible to do that.
On the flip side of that, I had a guy call me and it's like, "Man, I don't want all that internal video recorder. I just want a scope. I'm just going to shoot stuff." And then he went on to talk about a mountain lion that he saw out in his field, but he couldn't prove because he didn't have any pictures. And I said, "Man, these scopes, they make them with internal video recorder. All you got to do is push a button and it'll record it. That way you'll have proof next time." And he's like, "You know what? I think you're right. I think I need the one with the internal video recorder."
That's right. See,
so he was kind of the flip side of that.
Folks, let me tell you what that is.
You got to have proof of those trophies, man.
Let me tell you what that is. That is a good salesman. I am a bad salesman. See, Hans talks him into the model with all the bells and whistles, and rightfully tells them why they need it, and I'm over here talking them out of it. No, he's absolutely right. It's to each their own. There's a lot of There's a lot of guys that are kind of on the fence, and they end up going ahead and say, "I'm going to take the trail because I want all the bells and the whistles and the options." And if you want, video recording, I think you need to get the trail. I think it's worth it. If it's in your budget, you need to get the trail, because while yes, you can spend $240 getting the cable and the video recorder, and it works. Nothing wrong with it. But the problem is you've got a wire running up to the scope. You've got the video recorder, on your buttstock. You've got a pouch for it. You've got to turn it on. It's another battery to charge. It works. It's the only thing we ever knew for thermal scopes, for any night vision scope, up until, a year or two ago. So and a lot of the scopes still use them.
That's exactly right. I remember strapping that MDVR to the stock of my rifle and having to make sure that I switched it on and saw that red light blinking, so I knew it was recording.
I mean,
nervous about it.
And to be clear, I mean, even the Trigicons. I mean, these are $7,000 to $9,000 scopes, and they don't have internal video recording. They use the MDVR, so it's not like that's antiquated or anything. It's just people have gotten really used to the new trails. And the new Thermosight Pros from FLIR, just the internal video recording. So, but the big deal that I make to people is, if I hand you, you come out here in the dark and you can't see the scope, you can't see the housing, whatever, and I hand you an Apex XQ38 and you look through it and you go, "Man, that looks great," and I take it away and I hand you a Trail XQ38, you're gonna go, "Jason, you just handed me the same scope." I mean, it is the image quality, the magnification, the field of view. It is the same scope. And so to me, I always say, and on some of the forums, if you've seen me say this, I'm sure there's guys that are tired of seeing me write it. But the Apexes, in my opinion, are the best bang for the buck on the thermal market, period. At $2,500 and $2,800 for the quality that you get, you can't beat them. Now, I mean, like we've already hashed out, if you need those other functions, then the Trail is worth it. But if not, okay. Here's something that I tell a lot of guys. So if someone calls me and says, "Look, I've got $4,000 and I want a Pulsar and I want the very best image quality you can get me and I don't care about anything else." Well, you know what? I'm gonna sell him an Apex for $2,800. And and you go, well, wait a minute, because if you buy think about this. Until you get to the XP38 for $4,500, there's no better image quality than a Trail XQ50, or XQ38. So that to me just shows the value of those scopes. And I know I'm just keep talking about them like this is an infomercial for the Apexes, and it's not. I just there's so many people that don't even know that they exist, and if they do, they just think it's some inferior scope, and it's definitely not at all.
It's basically almost the same scope, except the bells and whistles.
But
really, when people call, it's what's your budget and what are your must-haves. Does it have to have internal video recorder? And that you find out pretty close to where the best fit is, and then it's just a matter of getting them within the budget that they want. But yeah, so again, if you have any questions about anything that you've heard, please give Jason a call over at Outdoor Legacy. That's 877-350-1818. Thank you for joining us this week. I think we got everything wrapped up, Jason.
I think
we wrapped
so.
a bow on that package.
I think the bow's on the package, and
all right.
It doesn't matter if you want the bells and whistles, we've got those for you. You want the stripped down model, we've got that. Hey, we're gonna have LRFs for now too. So you want those?
Right.
You can laser range find all the way out there to 1,000 yards.
Just in time for Christmas.
Just in time. Hey, Santa's looking for stocking stuffers. That'd be a pretty good stocking stuffer.
That's exactly right. So y'all get out there and talk to your significant others, and go ahead and get the permission to order yourself a new scope at LRF. So I appreciate you, Jason, and I appreciate you listening this week. Please go check us out on all those socials, Instagram, The Late Night Vision Show, Facebook, the same thing. We appreciate it. Please email us. Please give us a phone call, leave a voicemail. We'd love to hear your voice. And for Jason and I, we're going to say see y'all next week, and y'all take care.